prime time. This is victory. We are the chosen ones. We're making history. We'll show you what we got. Give everything we have. Every sweat, blood, and tear. Every last breath. We put up a fight until the last man, until the last day, until our last dance. We are here giving everything and more. To seize the opportunity, you know that we will score. This is victory.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world. For one final time this season, you're going to hear that. And welcome back to the Sachsenring, race number 4, the last race of the NXT Gen Cup, the 2025 NXT Gen Cup season. We've got great conditions to go racing, an air temperature of 18 degrees and a track temperature of 17.5 degrees. Like I said in race 3, these are great temperatures and great conditions to go racing in. Of course, race 3 was an absolute one for the history books again. Patricia Stalizzana taking her first win in the NXT Gen Cup and the second female only to stand on the top step of the NXT Gen Cup podium. My name is Dan Pepels. Next to me in the commentary booth is Sebastian Borghardt. And Sebastian, I mean, 2 amazing races we've seen yesterday, an amazing race again today. And I mean, Pip Venanzi starting from pole position in race number 4. What more do you want for a good race ahead?
Yeah, and we have obviously crowned our champion, Lukas Stiefelhagen, yesterday. And I think earlier today also Maxime Dachour was secured a second place in the championship. But we have an open fight for the third spot. Alex Gustafsson, Philip Dietrich and Patricia Stalizzana are all fighting for it.
Here is Maxime Dachour, the man who has secured second place in the championship. By 5 points, he did, or by 4 points, excuse me, he did that in race number 3 today. Alex Gustafsson now third in the championship. And well, he only started picking up podiums from the Nürburgring, and somehow he managed to end up on the podium in the championship hunt going into the last race of the season. But I can tell you why that is. That is because Alex Gustafsson is Mr. Consistent. And he showed that again this season. I mean, if I look at the points, he's finished no lower than 6th place this season. And I mean, that in itself is already a feat. Alex Gustafsson, like I said, has been Mr. Consistent ever since the first season of the NXT Gen Cup. Has always been in the top 5 and has continued to be there this season. And that has given him 3rd place in the championship when we go into the last race of the season. Looking further on through the starting grid then, it's Lukas Stiefelhagen who will also find his way ahead of Alex Gustafsson. Julian Wörtele is in between him and Maxime Dachour in 4th place on the grid. Here is Alex Gustafsson. You can see the focus in his eyes. He will start this race from P7. Finn Maché is ahead of him. Patricia Stalizzana then, she finds her way in P8. She's going to have to find her way, to the front of the field if she wants any chance of taking 3rd in the championship home. It's 13 points the difference. 13 points would be enough if and only if Alex Gustafsson does not take a win in this race. But if Alex Gustafsson takes a win in this race, the championship, I think, for sure is his already. But Patricia Stalizzana, 5th in the championship at the moment. She's going to aim for much, much higher than that by the end of this race. Then Bennett Earl in 9th, ahead of Philip Bartosz in 10th. Then Linda Frey in 11th. It'll be awesome to see her get up into the top 10. Not only because she's been doing a great job this season, but also because I got some chocolate from Linda Frey before this race. Actually, Frey chocolate. But yeah, I mean, awesome present there from Linda Frey. Some pure chocolate. And yeah, very happy with that indeed. Bente Boer then, she starts her way from P12. She's going to have to find her way forwards as well. Giving us a little wave there, Bente. Bente always in for some great humor. And of course, a great race as well. She's going to have to find her way forwards from P12. She's been climbing throughout this weekend, improving her pace as well. Theo Vida starting behind her. Now, these two are arch nemesis. And of course, Theo Vida started ahead of Bente Boer. Bente went to Theo Vida before the race and said, I'm going to start behind you. Are you scared already? It's a running joke this weekend.
Yeah, mind games.
Exactly. It's a running joke between Theo Vida and Bente Boer this weekend. They will start alongside each other this time round, not behind each other. Siri Högfeldt then then in P14, our first female winner in the Next Gen Cup. Bad luck in race number 3 puts her down the order for race number 4 as well. Vera Jurland, youngest competitor on the Next Gen Cup grid. You can see the twinkle in the eye. She's always ready for a good race. And here is Philip Dietrich, man, 4th in the championship at the moment. And oh boy, has it been a weekend up and down. Of course, had a good race. There you go. Philip Dietrich in for a good race now. Philip Dietrich always up for a good laugh in the paddock, but before race 3 or before race 4 now, I mean, he was focused. He was not up for any jokes. It was serious business for him. Andreas Kapfinger finds his way in finds himself in P17. Of course, happy to start this race again, start the last race of the season, but he has a ring on the steering wheel with which he controls the throttle, and then he has a handbrake with which he controls the brake in the car. Vivian Earl then, P18 on the grid for her. Let's see what she can do from the back of the grid. She's looking to gain a couple of spots and, well, at least jump forwards a little bit. We have got, I think, a 5-minute delay. That's why we are waiting, no? Yeah, we've gone past the starting time of the session, so that means we do have a delay. That gives us some time, Sebastian, to talk about what will be next after this race. I mean, racing for us doesn't stop here at the Sachsenring. The championship might be over at this point, but the racing doesn't stop here.
No, it doesn't. Our German season ends here, unfortunately, in about half an hour's time. And we have, of course, crowned our champion of the season, Lukas Stiefelhagen. But in 4 weeks' time, we will head to Sweden for a one-off event. Of course, the Next Gen Cup is based in Sweden with a lot of the personnel and our workshop being based in Sweden. So we will have a one-off event in Sweden at the legendary Mantorp Park track, where we will have a Swedish Junior Championship. 3 races over 1 weekend, deciding the best electric Swedish racing driver. And that will be exciting. I think we will see some familiar faces, maybe from this grid, maybe from some grid elsewhere.
Must that, or can that be a grid that we've had in previous seasons too, Sebastian?
It will be a great starting field at Mantorp.
That's all you can say. Oh, yeah. The legally correct answers. You have to love it. You have to love it, Sebastian. Pit Venanzi at the front of the field. He's one of the only drivers, I think, to have the door closed. He started from pole position at the Nürburgring 2, led 4 of the 8 laps there. He'll be looking to lead all 8 of them today.
Yeah, he has been excited all weekend. I think it's a very exciting first row. Him and Lennart. We know Lennart has stood on the podium, doesn't have a win this season. Pete wants his first podium. So yeah, it will be really interesting to see if any of them can go all the way to the podium and maybe to the win. But they have Maxim Dacher, they have Julian Wirtele, they have Lukas Stiefelhagen right behind them. They are all experienced winners and podium contenders here in the Next Gen Cup. And of course, Finn Marché, Alex Gustafsson and Patricia Stalitzane, who all stood on the podium this weekend. Local Finn Marché, who did his debut in the Next Gen Cup yesterday and has already wrapped up 2 podiums so far, Dan.
Yeah, it's been an amazing weekend for Finn Marché as well. But Julian Wirtele and Lennart Wolf for sure know how to race. Julian Wirtele took his first and only win in the Next Gen Cup in race number 4 at Oschersleben. Will he do the same at the only weekend we've had 4 races here at the Sachsenring other than Oschersleben? But at that time, who finished behind him? Lennart Wolf finished behind him in P2. And back then 3rd, well, was Lukas Stiefelhagen. Who else? Up until race number 2 here at the Sachsenring, he kept up the streak of being on the podium in every single race. Sadly lost out here on that streak, but I mean, it's been an exciting and of course a majestic season for our champion Lukas Stiefelhagen. We haven't seen the 1-minute board go up into the air. They're doing some track work, I think. That's what the delay is for. However, if we look at the drivers behind that, Maxim Dacher, of course, has taken 2 wins in the Next Gen Cup, one at Oschersleben in race 2, and of course here at the Sachsenring, that strange one in race number 1, where he sadly wasn't even able to stand on the podium for his 2nd ever win in the Next Gen Cup, but he's been to the podium plenty of times. Alex Gustafsson hasn't been to the podium except for Nürburgring and Sachsenring. Took his first podium in race number 2 at the Nürburgring, and it seems like pressure has dropped off his shoulders since then. 2 podiums at the Nürburgring, a third and a second place, and he's added a second place to that this time around. There is the 5-minute board that has gone out now. That gives the drivers the indication that there will be 5 minutes left until we will see the 5 red lights on the gantry. As the, I think that's a safety car leaving the starting grid now. Hopefully we won't see that one anymore in the race. However, if we look at the finishing positions from our at the moment pole sitter Pit, Vinanzi has not finished on the podium yet this season. Sadly, had to miss out on the first round at Oschersleben. However, I mean, his season so far at the moment in the championship is P11. If he could get into the top 10, and he would need 3 points over Bennett Earl for that one, I mean, that would be an amazing feat, missing out on one round in which we had 4 races.
Yeah, I think Bennett has had a pretty good weekend. He has solidly been putting in top 10 results and times, and was really close on that reverse grid pole position. He's a showman, Bennett Earl.
He does love that, doesn't he?
He likes to drift the cars, even though they're front-wheel driven. Yeah, I think it will be exciting to see him finish the season. I think ninth is the best for him this season. I think he would like to improve on that in this final race. Bennett Earl racing in the Hexis car this weekend.
Yeah. Indeed, 9th has been his best finishing position, and he took that in the last race. So let's see if he can go on better. Yeah, I think some people confused on what actually is going on and what the delay is for, but I have got the message that it is for some track work that they are doing. But the 5-minute board has gone out, and that means that we for sure will start this race in 5 minutes. There you go. There's the countdown on the bottom right. 3 minutes left until the start of this race. We will start at 16:40 local time, 10 minutes later than scheduled. But of course, since we are the last race and the last championship to race on the Sachsenring this weekend, we do have the room to push this race backwards a little bit. 2 minutes 45 seconds left, Sebastian. Like I said, what are we expecting from Patricia Sterlitzane and Alex Gustafsson starting from 8th and from 7th?
I think they and Lucas Stiefelhagen and Maxim Dacher will close up to the leading pack really swiftly, and I think we will have some great racing. Was it in the first race today where we had a pack of like 10 cars battling it out for the podium positions going into the final laps? I think Linda Frey was in 11th, and also she had contact with the leading pack, and she was very happy with her improvement over the season, and I think we will have a close trademark NXT Gen Cup race to finish off this season here in Germany.
Yeah, let's hope for that. Of course, here they are. The fans, they're waving at the cameras, they're waving at us here in the commentary booth, and at you at home as well. Of course, thank you all for staying here. I will promise you, you will not be disappointed after this race. It's going to be an absolute spectacle. It might have been delayed by 10 minutes, but that's just building the tension, Sebastian. 1:40 left until the 5 red lights are on the gantry. And I mean, we're excited to get the final race of the season underway, and also the final race here at the Sachsenring. 4 races this weekend. It's a lot of track time, and I think that's also good for these young drivers. I mean, to find their improvements. That's what this championship is all about.
Yeah, and we can see we have had drivers that have had massive development this season in their confidence, in their pace, and yeah, this is what the NXT Gen Cup is all about. It's about getting the next generation of drivers ready for what's to come. We have just seen the GT4 race where we have Victor Nielsen, who raced with us last year, did an amazing job there. If you start here, big things can lie ahead of you.
And that Wolf has to close his door. He's the only one not to do so. There you go. I think he heard me after closing the door there. We're now within a minute of the 5 red lights on the gantry. But yeah, you said it. Victor Nielsen, I think he finished 9th in the GT4 earlier on. I mean, I think he made his way up. We actually saw him, I think, before we went into the commentary booth.
From P16 to
from P16 to P5 in what,
finishing
half an hour? Yeah. That's not bad at all, I would say. Right then, let's get ready for the NXT Gen Cup Championship. Race number 4 here at the Sachsenring, and the last race of the championship in 2025. It is Pit Venanzi and Lennart Wolf from the front row of the grid. Maxim Dache and Julian Wörtele on the second row. Lucas Stiefelhagen and Finn Maché on the third. And the fourth row of the grid are second and first place finishers from race number 3. Alex Gustafsson and Patricia Stalizzane. Front row of the grid, Pit Venanzi, Lennart Wolf are looking at the 5 red lights in the gantry. They're out, underway and racing. It doesn't look like the best start from our pole sitter. Immediately trying to cover off the inside. He can't. That means Lennart Wolf is got to find his way through to the inside. That's the Alpha 1 car. I think of Julian Wörtele also trying to find his way through. Pit Venanzi immediately shuffled back to P3. That's not what the pole sitter wanted in terms of the start. But Maxim Dache is up into Oh no, he's P4 actually. He has lost the position. Lucas Stiefelhagen into P5. Julian Wörtele is the big winner here of these opening few corners.
Yeah, Patricia Stalizzane did a good start. I think she was P3 going into the first corner, but she lost out because there was like 3 cars wide and the track turned the other way for her. Let's see what they can do, but yeah, a good start from Lennart Wolf.
Well, as it stands, Stalizzane and Gustafsson still in the same positions as they started. Finn Maché has lost that position to Lucas Stiefelhagen. But Pit Venanzi dropping back to P3 will not be ideal for him. Let's hope that doesn't create too big of a gap. 7/10 is the gap to Lennart Wolf. Back when Julian Wörtele won at Oschersleben in race number 4, I think that's the biggest winning margin we've seen this season. And I think the winning margin there was 5 seconds. Yeah, if I look back at the result, 4.1 seconds was the difference between the two there. That was Julian Wörtele and Lennart Wolf, the top 2. This time though, it's reversed. Oh no, Lennart Wolf has gone off. Is that a problem with the brakes again? Let's hope that's not the case. He's had problems with the brakes the whole weekend. That was fixed for qualifying and for race 3 today. But let's hope that Lennart Wolf hasn't lost his brakes again. It's a complete new brake system in that car, so that should not be the case. Maybe just losing some confidence on the brakes. Of course, it's difficult if your car doesn't stop. Look at this then, 3 wide into turn 1. Alex Gustafsson up the inside of our champion, Lucas Stiefelhagen. Door banging into turn 1. Lucas Stiefelhagen, though, keeping them all behind.
Yeah, and Philip Dietrich has made a really good start, up from P16, now P10. Not trailing his competitors for P3 in the championship by that much. Alex Gustafsson still P7 and Patricia Stalizzane P8.
And with that start, he's put himself still in contention for this victory. Pit Venanzi is being shuffled back. He's being bullied back into the field. At the moment, I think he's P5 behind Lucas Stiefelhagen. Yes, he is. Alex Gustafsson now behind him. Then Finn Maché. Lots of marbles on the outside of the track. 2 days of racing is that's what 2 days of racing does to this track. Lots of pickup coming from the tires in these opening few laps where drivers have to drive offline, and then they pick up all of that rubber that's been left behind from all the other feeder series and DTM this weekend. CD Högfeldt had to come from the back as well. I think she's made a couple of she's made up a couple of places as well. Julian Wörtele in second, still behind Lennart Wolf, and then Maxim Dache. Then it's Lucas Stiefelhagen. Can he round off a pretty dominant season with the victory? I think we saw Alex Gustafsson go up the inside of Pit Venanzi there. Yes, he has been able to make that move. Pit Venanzi, though, comes back at him on the exit.
Yeah, Lennart Wolf leads from Julian Wörtele, Maxim Dache, Lucas Stiefelhagen up to P4 ahead of Pit Venanzi. Alex Gustafsson also made 1 place now, P6 ahead of Finn Maché.
Here comes Julian Wörtele up the inside of Lennart Wolf. The outside is the line for Lennart. Bit too early on the throttle, understeer for Lennart. Coming out of turn 1, that will give the inside of turn 3 to Julian Wörtele. He still has to make his way round though. Still the outside for Lennart Wolf. If he's able to hang his way round the outside here, that would be an achievement in itself already. He is able to hang it round the outside. Maxim Dache driving completely different lines, putting his car up the inside of Julian Wörtele's car. And he has made his way through Lucas Stiefelhagen now. He's going to make his way up onto the podium. No, he slots back in behind Julian Wörtele.
And the top 4 has put a little bit of a gap down to P5, which now has Alex Gustafsson, and there's dust everywhere as they cut the track down.
Oh, big moment for Finn Maché. Big moment, getting all squirrely coming out of turn 9. Massive, massive moment. Luckily, he's able to keep it pointing the right direction, but I think his rear was in the gravel and the front tires were still on the track. That's how sideways he was coming out of the corner. Lennart Wolf has led this race so far from lights to flag, overtook Pit Venanzi from the start lights. Pit Venanzi who's dropped back to P8 now. After that start, it seems like his confidence has taken a knock. We're once again going to go 3 wide into the last corner. Philippe Dietrich up the inside of Pit Venanzi and Finn Maché. The block pass, that's a nice one. He knew that he wasn't going to get the exit, and he says, well, you guys behind me won't get the exit either that way. I will stay ahead of you. That means Philippe Dietrich now up into 7th. If he can close the gap to the 3 drivers, or to the group in front of him, which includes Patricia Starezana and Alex Gustafsson, he might well put himself in contention at least to take back what was his before this race, and that is P3 in the championship.
And I think Maxim Dacher, he's on the inside of Lennart Wolf going into turn 3. Maxim Dacher have had a couple of really good corners, and let's see, he's still fighting with Lennart Wolf on the outside this time.
This time the outside for turn 5 and 6. He did it on the inside last time round. It looks like he's forced his way to the inside. Turn 7 in itself is difficult enough to keep flat out, and they do manage to do so, but Lennart Wolf once again slots in back ahead of Maxim Dacher. Turn 8 is not really an overtaking place, and thus they take the calm approach to it. There's still 4 more laps of racing after this one. Plenty of time still for the leading group, but all of this fighting is allowing the chasing pack to catch back up. Alex Gustafsson and Patricia Starezana, they said, both of them, that the slipstream was going to play a massive role in this race. And who knows? I mean, Lukas Stiefelagen is still in with a shot for this one. Julian Wörtele, Maxim Dacher, Lennart Wolf, Alex Gustafsson and Patricia Starezana. Those are the 6 at the moment, realistically in with a shot at the winning. Once again, a wide moment from both Patricia Starezana and Lennart Wolf at the front of the field. Maxim Dacher deciding not to go for the move up the inside of the last corner. While the momentum for Lennart Wolf was hampered a little bit there. But it looks like the exit is for Maxim Dacher. Is that push to pass usage too? It looks like it. Look at the gap he has created himself. He has created himself a nice and handy gap there. Julian Wörtele also using the same amount of push to pass as Maxim Dacher does. And that means that Lennart Wolf, for the first time in this race, is not leading the way except from the start.
And Philippe Dietrich made his way from P16 in the start, now P7, and closing in on the leading pack. Philippe Dietrich is, maybe still in the fight.
Purple sector there for Alex Gustafsson on that lap. Sadly, it wasn't his lap to be. But on 42.2 is the fastest lap of the race at the moment, set by Alex Gustafsson. Oh, Theo Vida happened on his own, or was there contact with Siri Höckfeldt? Difficult to see from this camera angle. But Theo Vida has gone round. Still though, the top 6 as it was before we went to the replays. Maxim Dacher ahead of Lennart Wolf. And then it is... Oh no, it's not Lennart Wolf. It's Julian Wörtele in P2, then Lennart Wolf in P3. Lukas Stiefelagen still in P4. He's been there for quite a while. Once again, he's playing the waiting game. But Maxim Dacher is running away with this one. Home track, home hero. Won a race already. Can he close a 2nd place in the championship off with another great result here at the Sachsenring? A track of which he dreamed racing on. Alex Gustafsson now going up the inside of Lukas Stiefelagen. Lukas Stiefelagen will try to get the exit on him. He can't quite make the cutback happen, or can he? Or he can! Lukas Stiefelagen back up the inside of Alex Gustafsson, that now loses the momentum to Patricia Starezana as well. Remember that those two are fighting for P3 in the championship. Alex Gustafsson has that to think about as well. Has only taken P3 now, has not been in P3 in the championship in any of the other races, or after any of the other races. This is the first time he's been in P3, and everything he's doing this race is just to defend that position in the championship.
He has quite a margin over at least Patricia Starezana, but not that much over Philippe Dietrich. So as it stands, Alex Gustafsson is 3rd in the championship, and he can afford even to lose 1 place.
Contact Philippe Dietrich and Finn Maché! That could be massive. That could be massive for the championship, for Philippe Dietrich at least, and also for Alex Gustafsson. If there's a puncture or any damage to that 71, that Mechanim car of Philippe Dietrich, he certainly seems to have gotten a knock. He had a brake failure in the last race. Oh man, there's not a lot of racing room left, and Finn Maché did the exact same thing to Lucas Stiefelaar in the last race. It's not the cleanest way of racing, not giving your competitor any room, but it's racing in a hard way, racing on the absolute limit in terms of what's possible, what's allowed, and the speed in general, the grip of these cars. Lucas Stiefelaar still ahead of Alex Gustafsson and Patricia Stolizana. I think Alex is happy being in this position, knowing that Philip Dietrich is nowhere near where he is at the moment, and that's his closest championship rival. Patricia Stolizana would need to gain 13 points, and well, that basically means that she needs to drive from where she is now to P1. And I'm not saying that's impossible, but with 2 laps to go, being in P6 at the moment, well, it's going to be a tough job.
Yeah, Alex Gustafsson is in a championship-wise a pretty comfortable position. He has his worst rivals behind him. He can even afford to lose 1 or 2 positions and still retain 3rd place in the championship. But of course, he wants to stand on the podium. He wants to taste the champagne once again. And yeah, he wants to make a statement here in the last race of the season.
Oh no! Andreas Kapfing and Vivian Earl having the race of a lifetime at the back of the field. But Andreas Kapfing is sadly finding his way, or finding himself facing the other way. That was coming out of turn 8, high-speed part of the track as well. Oh, loads of dust being kicked up by Maxime Dacha. Taking a very tight line to the apex of turn 8. Julian Wörtele 7/10 back of Maxime Dacha now. Lennart Wolf, he's going to have to try and work together with him if they want to catch up to our race leader, Maxime Dacha, with just, well, now almost only 1 lap to go.
I think Lennart Wolf has not given up the idea to stand higher up on the podium, as Theo Weider once again has a spin.
Yeah, he soon will find himself fighting with Vivian Earl and Andreas Kapfing at the back of the field. But yeah, it's not been Theo Weider's race, let's put it like that. It's a difficult track, this one, not an easy one. A track that requires bravery. And, well, that's something that if you are not trusting the brakes or just anything in the car, you're going to have to struggle with. There we go then! Final lap board is out. That's not only the final lap board for this race, but the final lap board for the championship as well. Alex Gustafsson has conceded the position to Patricia Stolizana. Philip Dietrich in the middle of Philip Bartos and Finn Maché. Pit Venanzi is ahead of them. Can he keep up or can he keep that position on the last lap? 5/10 is the gap from Julian Wörtele to Maxime Dacha. We focus on the battle for P7. Venanzi, Maché, Dietrich and Bartos all involved in this battle. Then Sidi Högveld in 11th, having to fight her way through from the back of the field. Here's the battle for the lead though. Julian Wörtele 4/10 back last time round. Can he gain any more time on Maxime Dacha and try to challenge him for the race win? A race win that Julian Wörtele so badly wants. That's a big moment, I think. Once again, oh no, that's Bennett Earl, and I think that settles it. Pit Venanzi will take 10th in the championship. Bennett Earl still trying to get all the gravel out of the car, but Bennett, there's a car behind you. Make sure you at least finish ahead of that one. Maxime Dacha will try to make sure he will finish ahead of Julian Wörtele. Up the inside comes Lennart Wolf. There's contact between those two in the last corner. Julian Wörtele is forced out or off the track. Is there damage for Lennart Wolf? No, there is not, but Lucas Stiefelaar takes P2, Patricia Stolizana takes P3, and Alex Gustafsson takes P5. Lennart Wolf finishes in P4 after that, and Julian Wörtele in P6, but I have a feeling there might be a penalty coming there for Lennart Wolf. It was quite a late send in the last corner, but look at what it means to Maxime Dacha. He can finally stand on the top step of the podium on his home track.
Yeah, very well done from Maxime Dacha, and yeah, what an end to this race and to this season.
Julian Wörtele finding the gravel, and Lennart Wolf losing time on the run to the finish line. That means Lucas Stiefelhagen finishes off his championship season in P5. Julian Wörtele takes out a camera in the process.
Yeah, and as it stands, Alex Gustafsson is third in the championship.
Without any penalties, but I don't think there will be any penalties for Patricia Stalizzana or Alex Gustafsson. Maybe Lennart Wolf, but that will only mean that Alex Gustafsson will gain more points on Patricia Stalizzana. So that means that Alex Gustafsson has found his way up to P3 in the championship. He did that on the second to last race of the season, and he's defended it like a lion on the last one too. The incident between cars 67 and 7 in turn 13 are under investigation. That's between Maxime Dacha and Julian Wörtele.
Yeah, and then I have to make my way to the podium. Thank you so much for having me in the commentary booth during the season.
Thank you for keeping up with me, Sebastian. I know it's not easy.
It's been a pleasure to watch all these exciting races with you and try to, talk about it to all the viewers here on track and back home. And I'll see you at Mantorp.
Yeah, see you at Mantorp, Sebastian. Now make sure you get over to the podium ceremony again. Maybe if Frederick is nice enough, so you'll be able to hand over the trophies again. But Maxime Dacha means a lot to him to win at his home track. Lucas Stiefelhagen will finish the race in P2, and Patricia Stalizzana will add another podium trophy to her cabinet. Sadly for her, though, can't take P3 in the championship. She will take P4 from Philip Dietrich, because Philip Dietrich finished in P8 in this race. Cars are now trickling into pit lane. Maxime Dacha gets out of the car, hand, fist and helmet out of the cockpit. He's happy with a home track victory. Lucas Stiefelhagen finishes off what was a dominant championship on the podium as well. Those are championship drives. When you don't quite have the speed, you still manage to make your way up onto the podium. Lucas Stiefelhagen explaining to his driver coach, who's helped him throughout this season, exactly what happened at the last corner. Patricia Stalizzana. Maximilian Pau, the Latvian flag, waving in the pit lane very frantically. Big smile on his face. There you go. Don't ruin her hair, Frederick. Maxime Dacha wins at his home track, and finally he now gets to stand on the top step of the podium. Last time this happened in race 1 here at the Sachsenring this year, he was stuck somewhere in a gravel trap. We won't only just have the podium of this race, we'll also have the championship podium. So sit rep, we're going to announce our top 3 in the championship as well. Alex Gustafsson has managed to find his way up onto the 3rd step of the podium in the championship. It might not be a podium for him in this race, but I don't think he cares too much about that. P3 is in the pocket, and that was the goal for this race. Patricia celebrating with friends and family. Maxime Dacha thinking back on when he made the decisive move for the lead. But Maxime Dacha stands on the podium at his home track. Lucas Stiefelhagen, our 2025 Next Gen Cup champion, rounds his season off with a 2nd place at the Sachsenring, and Patricia Stalizzana rounds off what was, for her, a good weekend in terms of speed with a 3rd place in the last race. Alex Gustafsson finishes in P4 this race and in P3 in the championship. Julian Wörtele 5th, ahead of Finn Marché in 6th. Philip Dietrich 7th, Philip Bartosz in 8th. 9th for Pit Venanzi. With that, I think he takes the 10th place away from Bennett Earl. 3 points was the gap. He finishes in P9. That will give him 8 points. And with Bennett Earl, after that spin, finishing in P14, giving him only 3 points. That means that Pit Finanzi has gone up to P10 in the championship. Siri Högfeldt, after this race, also passes Benjamin Mazzati, so sadly couldn't be here this weekend. Siri up to 8th in the championship. As we wait for our drivers to get up to the podium. They can take their time. There's the Latvian flag, of course, friends and family of Patricia Stalizzane. Once again, very happy with the podium place. Young and old, and this Next Gen Cup series, of course, for this generation, the next generation of race car drivers. Who knows? One day we might see him in a Next Gen Cup car. And we'll be waving the flag for him just as frantically as he is now for Patricia Stalizzane. As the champagne is being uncorked. No, didn't quite got to plan that one.
Es reicht nicht ganz, aber hat gereicht.
Ja. 0,007.
Hätte sie den Gustafsson ja auch überholt vorhin.
Ja, eine Runde vorher, dann ist alles erledigt. Ja.
Dann hätte sie noch
So
den
ist
Dach
wie
noch
ist. Rennen ist Rennen.
Patricia's friend and family discussing exactly how she got onto the podium. Of course, she had to make that decisive pass into the last lap into turn 1. That's what eventually gave her that podium. Otherwise, Alex Gustafsson would have been ahead of her going into the last lap and into the last corner. But it's time for the last podium of the weekend and the last podium of the championship in 2025. And we'll start with our third place finisher, Patricia Stalizzane. Adds another podium to her CV. Lucas Stiefelhagen, champion of 2025, rounds off his season with a second place. And Maxim Dacha finally can stand on the top step of the podium. And for that, we will hear the German national anthem.
Gebt nochmal groß Applaus. Unser Podium hier auf dem Sachsenring. Wir machen natürlich auch gleich noch die Meisterehrung, aber jetzt gibt's erstmal die Pokale.
All right. Before we go to the championship celebrations, we go to the podium celebrations for race 4 at the Sachsenring. And it's Daniel handing out the trophies, and the first one goes to Patricia Stalizzane.
It's the hardest working man in NXT Gen Cup. It's a trophy for second place for Lucas Stiefelhagen.
Lucas Stiefelhagen will receive the second place trophy. He will add that one to his cabinet. Missed out on only 2 podiums this season, and that was race 2 and 3 here at the Sachsenring. And of course, our winner in race number 4 and the last race of the 2025 Next Gen Cup season, Maxim Dacha hoists the trophy aloft. One final podium picture taken by Sebastian for this season, the 2025 Next Gen Cup season. Maxim Dacha, Lucas Stiefelhagen and Patricia Stalizzane. And after that, it's time to celebrate. This is not done yet, though. We'll go to the championship celebrations later after this, but it's good to see that they're spraying the champagne as they should. All 3 of them happy with their podium and happy to round their season off in this way. And what an amazing season it was for Lucas Stiefelhagen. 7 wins in the championship. Most of those came at the Norris Ring and the Nürburgring. At the Nürburgring, of course, he had that unbeaten weekend where nobody was able to beat him, neither in the practice sessions, the qualifying, or any of the races. And of course, Nürburgring winning all 3 of the races there as well. With this second place, he will finish on 168 points on 368 points in the championship. Maxim Dacha will close in a little bit, but what a weekend it has been here at the Sachsenring. It was chaos on this Saturday with rain pouring down in both sessions, and that gave us plenty of safety cars, a red flag, and drama after the end of race 1. Race 2 then started off in the wet and ended in the wet. That one won by Sidi Högfeldt, race number 2. Maxim Dacha won the first one. Then Patricia Stelizana managed to win the third race. And of course, Lucas Stiefelhagen winning the last race of this season. Well, overall, I think we could say that this weekend was... You can sum it up, I think, in 3 words. Close fighting and gravel. Lots of it on this track. And let me tell you, we found it on the track as well. There we go, another shot of a car putting gravel onto the track. But it's been a classic Next Gen Cup weekend. Linda Frey, big moment there on the exit of turn 12. We've had plenty of those this weekend. But back to the podium we go, and we see 3 different drivers. 2 drivers who knew before this race that they would stand on this podium. But one didn't. And I think it will be that man who will be standing on this podium with one of the biggest smiles this weekend. And P3 in the championship on 231 points. And with 2 second places, it's Alex Gustafsson. Maxim Dacha, Sidi Högfeldt enjoying the championship podium. Second place in the championship, Maxim Dacha. Finishes on 282 points. But of course, a champion of 2025, Lucas Stiefelhagen, 7 wins. 3 P3s and 1 P2, or 2 P2s after this race, excuse me. And for that, we'll listen to the Dutch national anthem. Lucas Stiefelhagen, who wins the 2025 Next Gen Cup season. And the trophies, of course, presented by series owner and founder Fredrik Lestrup. The first one goes to Alex Gustafsson. Hoist the trophy aloft. Deserved that 3rd place thoroughly. Mr. Consistent. 2nd place trophy going to Maxim Dacha at his home track. Managed to secure that 2nd place in race 3. And of course, the biggest of them all going to Lucas Stiefelhagen. Gets a big hug from Fredrik Lestrup. Hoist the trophy aloft. Friends and family, enjoy that moment thoroughly. We'll have one last picture, and this picture will go down into the history books as well. Lucas Stiefelhagen, Maxim Dacha and Alex Gustafsson, your top 3 of the 2025 Next Gen Cup season. And it's time for one last time for champagne. Racing, though, doesn't end here. Follow us on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere you can to see the calendar for next season. Racing doesn't stop here for the Next Gen Cup, though. We go racing in 4 weeks' time at Mantorp to crown the Swedish junior champion. But for the 2025 Next Gen Cup season, it ends here. Your champion, Lukas Stiefelhagen, with a dominant season this year. Goodbye.
50.000 Zuschauer insgesamt da. Dankeschön. Wir sehen uns nächstes Jahr wieder, dann vom 11. bis 13. September.
Time. This is victory. We are the chosen ones. We're making history. We'll show you what we got. Give everything we have. Every sweat, blood, and tear. Every last breath. We put up a fight until the last man, until the last day, until our last dance. We are here, giving everything and more. To seize the opportunity, you know that we will score. This is victory.